Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, November the 26th. And as we like to do every year on these special holiday time of the year, we would like to salute our good friend Frank Burke up in Wisconsin. Frank, welcome. It's such a treat to have you.
Well, thank you so much, Sylvia. It's an honor to be here
All
with you.
right. Well, you know what I always ask you, how's the weather in Wisconsin?
Okay. The weather is taking a nosedive temperature-wise.
Okay.
Very cloudy. There are snow flurries. We're supposed to get maybe 1 to 2 inches today, but the wind is at 50 miles per hour in gusts. So they're saying stay off the roads. And, if you can postpone it, please. But of course, we have one son who's coming up from Chicago. So we say prayers.
Yes, sounds like you have a winter storm underway.
We do. And by tomorrow's supposed to be fairly nice. Then a real snowstorm coming in on the weekend. And then on Monday, it drops down to near the single digits.
Wow. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. Make sure you have a lot of firewood just in case you need
Yes.
you need some extra warm there. I was going to, do the lights ever go out? Like when I don't remember the lights ever go out. When I lived in Wisconsin, I don't remember the lights ever going out when it was cold. So I don't think that was ever really a problem.
It really isn't here. Out at the farm in the western part of the state, you get that a lot. But here, we've never had, I don't think we've ever had the lights go out. They may have flickered once or twice, and, enough that you have to restart the computer. But that's very, very rare.
Or the alarm clocks start flashing. That's
Right, exactly.
usually the clue when you get up in the morning and all the clocks are flashing. You knew the lights went off for at least a minute.
Right,
the
and
night before.
What time it is.
Yeah. Well, our temperature as I speak to you right now is 51 actually.
Wow.
And it's supposed to, be I think in the 40s tonight, low 40s. Obviously not anywhere near what you're going through, but it is a chilly day, and I like these days actually. After the summers we usually have here.
Yes.
Listen, 51 is a lovely day.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah,
Bright
with
sunshine, 51 degrees, even in the 40s. I really enjoy it.
No, it is a beautiful day today. 51 sunshine. I'll take those any day.
Yes.
Especially after, as I say, the summers
that
we have here, when it's usually twice that much.
Yeah.
In the summer. Well, Frank, it's Thanksgiving, and I always enjoy chatting with you on Thanksgiving for a lot of reasons. To wish you a happy Thanksgiving, of course, but because we always have a memory to share. So, can you remember any Thanksgiving memory that really stands out? Maybe going back to New York in your early days up there.
Well, of course, I remember in the early days, we would have Thanksgiving at my great aunt's, and my mother would cook the turkey, and then take it over. It was about 4 blocks away, cooked by car, and I can remember I must have been about 6, and my Uncle Charlie had this huge old bulbous Pontiac, and you'd put the turkey in the back of it, and it was a very snowy day, so she's coming out with the turkey, and we're just hoping she doesn't slip. And by the time we got to my aunt's, it wasn't very far, but the whole car smelled like turkey. But I think one of my favorite memories is quite a bit later than that. It was when I first knew Peggy. And I think it was our first Thanksgiving together. And of course, Peggy had lived alone for many, many years. And she had, when you live alone, you don't cook a turkey. So she was making the turkey for us for Thanksgiving. She brought it out of the oven. And I thought, wow, this looks a little strange. What's wrong? And we finally figured out she'd cooked it upside down.
Oh.
But, so what? It was fine.
It was fine, yeah, because you're eating the inside. Doesn't matter how you line it up, but you're eating the inside. Well, my memory looking back, this is one that I'll never forget. We get to the United States, and my parents, like like a lot of Cuban parents or immigrants in general, um, cannot say Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
The pronunciation of Thanksgiving, the th, Thanksgiving, it's just impossible. And it isn't just Thanksgiving. Even thank you, my mother couldn't say thank you. She would say thank you, thank you.
Okay.
So, so like if you would listen to my mother and you do something for her, she go thank you, like with
Oh,
s instead of th, right?
sure.
Uh, it almost sounded like he was saying sink, sink you, like
Right.
you like. So anyway, so we get to the word Thanksgiving, and they just couldn't pronounce it. They just couldn't
Oh,
say Thanksgiving. They just could not pronounce Thanksgiving. It was brutal. I kept saying to my mother, "Mommy, listen to me. Thanks," like with the th, thanks. Couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So she would say sun, like SAN, like
uh-huh.
San Antonio, San Francisco.
Right.
So San giving. So
Mhm.
the joke started going, because they were not the only Cubans of their generation who had that problem. It was very common, that problem. So the joke started going around that Thanksgiving was really actually another Catholic holiday for a saint named Giving. There was a saint somewhere that appeared out of God knows where, and his last name was Giving.
Right.
So, so Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving. It became such a joke, Frank, that somebody decided to make money out of it, as always happens. And some company out of Miami made these coffee cups. You can buy them online, and it says "Happy Sun Giving," SANGIVI. And it became such a
Excellent.
joke. But years later, obviously, my folks are now gone. But every time I approach Thanksgiving, I always have to think of that because it was so funny.
Yes,
They
yes.
just they just couldn't say the word, Frank. They
I
just
give
couldn't say it.
I give them so much credit. All of the immigrants who came here and had to
Yeah.
learn another
Oh
language,
gosh, yeah.
and it just they really deserve a lot of respect and credit for everything they went through.
I
Great.
agree. I agree. And the more that I look back at it now, it's just remarkable how much admiration we have for them and what they went through because it really wasn't a big deal for us, Frank. I was 12 years old. You don't have problems when you're 12.
Right.
If it snows 6 feet, hey,
Hey,
we
that's
go out and
cool.
play football. But my parents, if it snowed 6 feet, he had to walk like 3 blocks to get a bus, and we didn't have a car. It was like several years we had to wait to get a car. So he had to walk. I mean, you didn't think about that then, but I think about it now.
Yes,
And
yes.
I know when I get together with my brother and sister, these are some of the things we laugh about. Remember
Right.
my father used to walk down this hill to get to the bus stop. And I don't know, can you imagine coming from a country like Cuba and it's all of a sudden those temperatures in Wisconsin and you're coming out of your house walking 3 blocks to a bus stop?
Yeah.
Think about that, how
Oh,
cold that must have
absolutely.
been. My dad must have really been. So anyway, so Thanksgiving. So if I ever say to you Thanksgiving, you know where it's coming from.
We should write a biography of the saint and when he was canonized.
Yeah, they should do a Saturday Night Live show of Pope Leo canonizing Thanksgiving,
Yes.
and he can come to Miami to do it.
Right.
That would be absolutely incredible. Well, another thing that I wanted to bring up and get your opinion on, Frank, a lot of a lot of political divisions in the country, a lot of angry people
Yes.
on both
Yes.
sides. And I hear people cannot even have dinner together because they're so angry at, I guess in
Mhm.
many cases, angry at Trump in this case. I mean, look, I I am angry at liberal policies, but that doesn't stop me from having lunch or dinner with a liberal friend. I mean, we can talk about something else,
Right.
but it seems like there are some people who can't. And I mean, how do you do that, Frank? How do you get these people to realize that there's more to life than hating Trump?
Well, it's very difficult, I think, because I think we both heard the psychiatrist on the news who talked about the fact that Trump derangement syndrome is very real. And I think it has to do with the fact that over the years, people have become terribly impatient. It's, I want what I want now. I want it now. And you can't interfere with my world. And, when they see Trump as a threat, then they become irrational. They become obsessive. And they will not tolerate Trump or anyone who believes what he believes or who likes him.
Right.
And it really is tragic because it breaks up a lot of friendships and a lot of families. And not only that, but it precludes rational discussion. And
That's the key. That's the key, Frank.
yeah, we have, a member of our family who lives in Chicago, and he does not listen to the news. I mentioned to him, and I have to be very careful about how we talk. But it's our son. But I mentioned one, there have been two murders in Chicago. There have been with these, one was by the Chicago Theater and the other was at the tree lighting. He was aware of one of them, but not the other. And so if you don't know that,
Right.
you don't know how dangerous Chicago is. And I'm not saying this to say, hey, I'm right. I'm telling you the right thing. I'm saying, look, you've got to be careful. You have got to be very careful
Right.
on the trains. And, hey, Chicago is paradise. No, I'm afraid it isn't. But you can't convince some people.
Right. Well, because they get polluted by all this political stuff that their
Yeah.
heads can't think straight. I mean, like I always get a kick. Speaking of Chicago and Illinois, I find it almost comical. It's almost like something out of Saturday Night Live when the governor of Illinois comes out and says everything's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. 5 people were killed on Sunday and 15 were shot, and this
Yeah.
happens every Sunday, and this is fine.
Yeah. This
You know,
is, yeah.
This is normal. Frank, I don't know of any other. I mean, I cannot say any other because that would be too general. If we had a situation in a city in Dallas, in Texas, where 5 people were killed on Sunday and 15 were hurt, and this happened again the next Sunday,
Yeah.
the governor of Texas would literally take over the city.
Yes. Yes.
There would be federal troops, or not federal, but state troops
Yeah.
running the city, or at least patrolling the city, and he would act in such an emergency fashion because he would say, "You can't tolerate this.
Right.
I don't
Right.
care what your party is. They're not these people who are killing. It's not party related that they're. It's not like they're saying, okay, let's go out and shoot Republicans this weekend.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way.
Well,
So it's sad.
it is. It was on the news this morning. 3 illegal immigrant kids from Venezuela stabbed and killed a homeless man. And he was lying in front of a restaurant. He had a skeleton, a skull mask with him in a shopping cart. And they came along and they saw him and they beat him and then they killed him for that mask. And, I don't know what will happen to them. Probably not much.
Well, ICE will probably take them, I assume.
I would hope.
And probably at least detain them, maybe deport them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But of course that's become a real problem. And then you have cities like LA and Chicago and maybe Portland,
Right.
where they say, no, we're doing fine.
Yeah.
We're doing just great. I mean,
Yeah.
just leave us alone. We're doing just fine. Oh, okay. So another federal building was attacked on Saturday night. We're doing just fine.
Yeah.
Just stay away. Don't leave us alone. We can handle it. Well, they cannot handle it.
No, they can't. And one of the things about that, when we talk about being rational, part of being rational is taking the long view.
Hmm.
And let's use an example of that with that Mandani.
Right.
Okay. I grew up in New York. I know the city well. I've always loved New York history. I have a very large number of books on the history of the city of New York, which I read here in Wisconsin. Now, I would not go back to New York because so much has changed.
Right.
But always before, when you had a bad mayor, and there have been bad mayors in New York, or you had bad politicians all over, New York has survived.
Hmm.
And it has survived because New York geographically was the center of many important things. It was the center of finance.
Right.
It was the center of the fashion, the clothing industry, the garment industry, and other things too. Broadway, okay, was very important. The problem is, okay, this time, if you don't take the long view, you think, okay, well, this guy's a socialist. We'll see how it works. You can't afford to make that mistake. The
Hmm.
technology has changed. There is no reason why New York has to be the center of finance.
Right.
There's no reason why there has to be a center of finance or fashion or Broadway. And Broadway is now so expensive in terms of the tickets that only people, tourists are going to the shows. There are very few new shows on Broadway because they can't afford to mount something
Right.
that's new. So you're looking at, if you take the long view, you say, wait a minute, you're playing with fire. And
Mhm.
when this guy starts with the taxes and all of that, you're going to get into real trouble. Take the long view, look at it.
Right. But that's the thing that when you get this irrationally wrapped up in hating somebody, you don't see the long view. So
Right.
you're sitting there. I mean, it's like, I'm sitting there and I have a gasoline in my hand and I'm playing with gasoline and I decide to light a cigarette, for
Yeah.
example. Well,
Right.
that's not going to work. Okay. I don't care what political party you are. I don't care how much you hate Trump. That's not going to work. You're going to burn yourself to death, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's the thing that I find, for example, in conversations with people who don't like Trump. I can understand if you didn't vote for him. That's okay. I can
Yeah.
live with that. I mean, look, Reagan was probably the most popular president we've had since Eisenhower in
Right.
terms of electoral success.
Yes.
In 1984, Reagan was reelected with 49 states, but 40% of the country voted for McGovern,
Yeah.
or was it Mondale? Mondale.
Mondo.
40% of the country, 4 out of 10 people voted for Mondale
Right.
in what was the biggest landslide that we've had recently.
Yes.
Okay. You know, so you got to accept that 4 out of 10 people are going to go the other way. And that's okay. I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can coexist with that. But when you start using words like he's Hitler,
Right.
and then I'm going, wait a minute, come on. Not only are you failing your basic history class, but you're insulting the people who actually did suffer
Yes.
under Hitler. I was on Univision recently, doing a little debate, and one of the lady that I was debating starts talking about how, remember, Hitler was elected too. And, and I'm going, wait a minute. We've got to stop this. I said to her, we have to stop this.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you're bringing Hitler into the context of an American debate, then I'm sorry, you don't know your history.
Right.
And you hate him too much.
Yeah.
You hate him too much. You hate him to the point that you've lost your common sense. But anyway, what I would recommend to everybody who, if you're in a discussion and you've got somebody in the table who is, anyway, who wants to enter into a political debate. What I would recommend to everybody is to say, hey, the turkey's great. Why don't you have more?
Yeah.
The
I
turkey's great.
agree. Yes.
Because I mean, come on, can we not have a peaceful dinner with? But apparently, and I bring this up not because I bring this up because apparently this is happening.
Oh, it's happening more. I'm afraid more than it ever has. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe since the Civil War, that
maybe.
divided a lot of families.
Oh gosh, did that ever divide families?
The thing is, when you look at it, Silvio, one of the things as you get older, and I don't mean you have to be old in the sense of old and senile,
Right.
but as you mature, as you get older, and the years go by, the holidays become more bittersweet,
Right.
because we always think of the people whom we knew,
Right.
who we enjoyed the holidays with, who are no longer here.
That's right.
And I think maybe if some of the people who are so anti-Trump, and I can't stand this person because they like Trump, if they only would take a minute and say, well, suppose that person wasn't here. What about all the other things beyond the politics?
Right.
What about the personality, the experiences we've shared, the commonalities in our lives? If you think about it that way, then perhaps the other thing is not all that important.
No,
Or
it's not. I'm
is.
sorry. I'm sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you, but it's not. It's not when you look at because in 3 years Trump will be gone.
Yeah,
And there'll be somebody else, I guess. And it could be a Democrat for all we know.
yeah,
And so you just have to learn to live with these things and not get so wrapped up that you become obnoxious.
yes,
And I have to confess that I have a friend of mine from high school where that has happened.
yeah,
I don't even read his emails anymore.
yes,
I just look at the title and I know what he's going to tell me.
right.
So
Yeah.
I hate to do that. I hate to do that to somebody. I just automatically delete it without reading it. I know that's rude, but I know what he's going to say, and he's said it 50 times.
Yeah.
And so why should I even bother with it?
Well, you can't, because when you look at for the sake of that guy,
Yeah, well, that's
anytime you answer him, you unintentionally are piling more fuel on the fire.
well, that's exactly how I look at it. I mean, I'm hoping that he gets the hint
Yeah,
that I don't answer his emails, and then maybe. But again, Frank, I bring this up not to talk about. I'm not trying to make it about me. I think this is happening in the country right now. That's what worries me.
very
But
much.
this
So.
is happening to such an extent that we are hurting family relationships. We are hurting friendships, and I think that's really sad.
Yeah, and we're as a result of that, we are assuming a distorted view of the world.
Yeah,
And the media has gotten so corrupt that even now, CBS, some of the networks are having to fire people and say, we got to go in a different direction.
right.
We've lost all the people who used to listen to us. But the tragedy is they've lost them, not because they've gone to conservative media, because they're getting their media out of social media.
Mm-hmm.
And social media is absolutely, a wild wasteland
Right.
when it comes to political theory or who's saying what.
Well, what you get on social media is almost worse than
Yes, much
than,
worse.
than yeah. So it becomes. I think the funniest line. Speaking of the media, the funniest line is when Jeff Bezos, the Amazon
Yes,
guy,
yeah,
when he bought the Washington Post, he basically told the writers at the Washington Post, folks, nobody's reading you.
hmm
You think you're very important and all these things that you write, but nobody's really reading you.
yeah,
And they're not reading you because you've become predictable
yeah,
in what you're going to say. That I mean, it's like if you bought a magazine, Frank, and every time you picked it up, it had the same article with the same idea. I think after 2 or 3 times, you might cancel, right?
that's for sure.
It's just
That is true.
you want to be able. Well, Frank, I know every time at these holidays you have something for us. So, what is your surprise this year?
Well, I'll tell you, but just before I get to that, I,
Yeah.
I will close our last discussion with a saying that was a favorite of my great aunt's, who was like my grandmother. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still.
Ah, okay.
And that's wisdom.
I think so. There's nothing like a great aunt
That's right.
for wisdom. Yeah. I mean, that for some reason, those people had a lot of that.
Yes, they did.
I don't know. They didn't always pass it on, but they had a lot of that. Yeah.
Well, but what we have today, I think because it's Thanksgiving, we ought to think about giving thanks. And what I'm going to read is a prayer of thanksgiving from the Book of Common Prayer, which is the official prayer book of the Episcopal Church, the Anglican Church. And I chose that because the use of the language, perhaps being of an English extraction,
Yeah.
is especially nice. So I will, with your permission, do a little reading.
Go for it.
Okay. Accept, O Lord, our thanks and praise for all that you have done for us. We thank you for the splendor of the whole creation, for the beauty of this world, for the wonder of life, and for the mystery of love. We thank you for the blessing of family and friends, and for the loving care which surrounds us on every side. We thank you for setting us at tasks which demand our best efforts, and for leading us to accomplishments which satisfy and delight us. We thank you also for those disappointments and failures that lead us to acknowledge our dependence on you alone. Above all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, for the truth of his word and the example of his life, for his steadfast obedience by which he overcame temptation, for his dying, through which he overcame death, and for his rising to life again, in which we are raised to the life of your kingdom. Grant us the gift of your Spirit, that we may know him and make him known, and through him, at all times and in all places, may give thanks to you in all things. Amen.
Frank, that's beautiful. And I would only say this, that if everybody has an encounter with a person of a different persuasion on Thursday, maybe sharing this prayer would be a good way to calm things down.
I would hope so.
Silvio, because the one point that I wanted to add as I was listening to what you were saying, we have a lot more that unites us than divides us. I've always felt that way.
Yes.
And people have a lot in common, and you should at least try to talk about those things that unite us, instead of always looking for the thing that divide us. Maybe once in a while look for the things that we both like to talk about. In my case, it would be sports or baseball or whatever,
Or rock and roll.
Rock and roll, yes, yeah. That's right. By the way, speaking of a holiday song, there's always Snoopy's Christmas.
Yes.
By the Royal Guardsmen, one of those one-hit wonders. And I mentioned that today, Frank. I mentioned Snoopy today because Charles Schulz, who created those characters, was actually born on this day in Minneapolis. He was born in 1920, I believe, passed away a few years ago.
Wow.
But talk about a guy who contributed a lot to Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Charles Schulz.
Very much. Very much.
Those Charlie Brown Thanksgiving specials, they're magic.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
How can you go wrong watching those? I mean, who in the world? I mean, you have to be really imaginative to create characters like Charlie Brown and what's the girl's name? Lucy, yeah, and Snoopy.
Yes.
And what's the kid with the blanket?
Linus,
yeah. I mean, you got to be pretty creative to come up with a cast of characters like that. But that's the beauty that he left all of that. That's his legacy, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
He and Dr. Seuss
Yeah.
because
Oh, okay.
what people thought was being written for children had great lessons for adults.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of adults who like Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I think Charlie Brown, I would argue it's really more for adults
Yes. Oh, yeah.
because some of the humor might not always be caught by the kids, but
Right.
the adults definitely. I used to love it. I still
Oh, yeah.
do. And
And
I would always make it a point. I think the Charlie Brown special used to be on the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving.
okay. Well, we'll look for it.
Yeah. And it was always every year, not to put a plug here, but it was always every year on CBS. They had Charlie Brown, and there's always another one they used to have. But Charlie Brown was my special.
Yes,
That was
definitely.
great.
And
Well, go ahead, Frank. Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, and let's not forget Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yes, they're pretty good too. But I have to admit that Snoopy's Christmas, Snoopy and the Red Baron,
Yes,
that had to go down as one of the classics.
definitely.
Yeah, that had to be one of the great 45s of all time.
And people today, many of them, wouldn't know what a 45 is unless they thought you were talking about a revolver.
Yeah, that's right. The good old Colt 45, right? The
Right.
revolver. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, Frank, as always, it's a great pleasure and a great honor to have you and to share this moment with you. And I just want to wish you and the whole family up there a happy Thanksgiving. I hope the weather doesn't stop you.
No,
And down here, we'll have a few things too.
excellent. And to you and your family and the audience, a very happy Thanksgiving and God bless.
Thank you so much. Our good friend, Frank Burke, who always has something profound to say on the holidays. And that's because he listened to his great aunt.
That's right.
All the wisdom you have, you got it from your great aunt.
Yes,
Those are the people of wisdom that have impacted our lives.
exactly.
It would be nice sometimes if those people could come back and tell us how they feel about everything.
Yes.
It would be
Yeah.
nice to have their opinions about a lot of things that we do these days. I would love, one time I said I would love to have my grandmother, who passed away in 1984, tell me. She was born in Cuba and passed away in 1984. And I always kept thinking to myself, I wonder what she would say about popcorn in the microwave.
Yeah.
She didn't live to see it,
hmm
but she liked popcorn.
Yeah.
And she used to make popcorn the old-fashioned way,
Yes,
And
definitely.
I wonder what she would say about us eating popcorn in a microwave. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just one of those questions. I guess someday I'll get to ask her.
exactly.
All right, Frank. Thank you. Have a great day and stay away from the snow.
I certainly will.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Sylvia.
much. All right. Thank you so much. Our good friend Frank Burke up in Wisconsin, where they're having a snowstorm up there, from what Frank just said. It happens a lot up there, as you know. They always have a lot of snow this time of the year. I don't know if it's always like this, but I lived up there and I remember late November, December. It was actually January was the coldest month, as I recall. That's when it really got cold in January. But thank you so much for listening. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We will run this video as well on Thursday, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family and stay away from political arguments. Remember that. Not on Thanksgiving. Stay away from political arguments. They don't do you any good on Thanksgiving. Bye-bye, everybody, and a very happy Thanksgiving to you.